Well, hello there. We are trying something a little different today. I'm going to be building the character figure models from the Star Wars Shatterpoint game from Atomic Mass Games that's going to be coming out on June 2nd, here in less than a month away. Figured I'd need to build these minis. They were kind enough to send each of our retail stores a demo copy of the game. Arrived late last week. Figured, got some of the terrain built already. Figured I'd need to build up the characters and get some demos going here in our retail stores. All the figures do come on 2 sprues out of the box. And except for this little guy right here, which is comes on one of the terrain sprues, that little Wolfcat sitting on top of a astromech dome there. And so he's just going to hang out there and watch us for the rest of the day. So I think the first thing is we'll just go ahead and start with the B1 Battle Droids, since that's everybody's favorite models to build from the Star Wars Legion core sets. All the instructions for these models are on Atomic Mass Games website, just like all the instructions for the Star Wars Legion builds. I do have that pulled up off screen here, and I'll be referring to it today. Let's see. By the way, I am live streaming from one of the back rooms at our St. Louis, Manchester miniature market retail locations, so I'm sure you're going to be hearing all sorts of fun background noise today with pricing and restock and customers and anything else that's going to happen. Let's see. You can definitely see some of the Battle Droid parts up here, but I'm looking for L1 and 2. Seeing a bunch of Ls. They're all in like the 20s and 30s. Maybe the other sprue? Oh, yep, more Battle Droids on the other sprue. There we go. L1 and 2. These figures are slightly bigger in scale than the Star Wars Legion figures. They look pretty much just as detailed and almost just as many pieces as some of the Legion figures. Let's see. I personally like to go ahead and just clip out pretty much all the parts for a figure and build them all up as a whole. Looking for the backpack L3. There it is. Let's see how many pieces it takes to build one Battle Droid. That Wolfcat came in technically 3 pieces. The terrain base, and then I believe it was a Wolfcat body, and then the head. And here we go, the Battle Droid head, or at least this first one is already in 2 pieces. Let's see. Kind of curious to see how much possible posability you're able to get out of these. I'm sure they're more so like the Legion ones, that they're pretty much monopose, and not so much like a lot of the GW minis that have a lot of ways that you can pose and adapt those models. It is looking like they did a pretty good job of keeping all of the figure pieces very close and organized on the sprue, perhaps. At least all of this battle droid looks like it's coming out of this one quadrant here. So hopefully that'll make things easier to find pieces moving forward. But I do believe that is everything for our first battle droid. Let's see here, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. And he is only one of the 3 B1 battle droids that are going to go on, I believe, one of these larger bases. I'm not necessarily seeing anything on the instructions about which base size everything's going on, but I'm kind of assuming based on the picture that the battle droids are going to go on one of the larger 2 bases. There are, let's see here, 16 of these smaller bases out of the box. Considering there are 16 figures in the box, looks like you're going to have 2 of these extra small bases when everything's finally said and done. Let's see, let's get the building. My go-to plastic cement is Tamiya or Testors. Tamiya here, I've got just neat straight out of the pot. My Testors, I've got little bits of sprue cut up and put inside of it to melt down and make some sprue goo to thicken it up a bit. Really get the pieces to stick easier. Let's see how well this plastic accepts good plastic glue. There we go. It looks like it's got a good seat on the first connection and feels like the glue is binding to the plastic, so that's nice. It's going to be a nice easy build without having to get super glue all over my fingers. I do prefer to go with the plastic glue if possible. Keep the super glue around for resins and certain terrain pieces and other bigger projects. Let's see. Looks like one of the arms comes in 2 pieces. Looks like it's going to be holding the gun there. So let's go ahead and get the head mounted here. Pretty much just going to be a laid-back afternoon of assembling these, or as many of these miniatures as I can before I may need to jump off of here and get some other priorities taken care of. There is a little keying in there, so these do feel like they should be pretty monopose. Which is fine. They do have at least some of the sculpts I've seen so far, it looks like out of the box, or off the box, it looks like they've got some good posing. These are a bit finicky. Go figure. Battle droids. Being a bit stingy. Let's see. Sure, that's the top of the arm. Ooh, got some static buildup off of this little piece of neoprene mat that I have below me. Neoprene's great for a little work surface. Soaks up all the glues and paints, keeps it from transferring to your tabletop. Just small little piece of leftover playmat or anything else you guys might have laying around makes for a great little workstation surface. Definitely not a cutting map, no. Your X-Acto blades will go straight through that thing, neoprene. There is some pretty good keying in there, but it is just a very toothpick type of connection. There we go. It's very soft right now. I gotta let that plastic lid maybe stiffen up a little bit more. Either that, I'll try out the sprue goo on the next one and see if the thicker formula is any better. A bit of a dexterity game right out of the box. I may have to get out some tweezers to get this to line up. Sure, it looks great on the camera. Trying to see around my fingers. There we go. Alright, looks like legs may be a little out of whack, but there we go. Glue should stay, or the cement should stay soft enough for, oops. Yeah, I opened up that joint and it softened it up and just took the leg right off. Let's get that back on there. There we go. Just set him off to the side as much as we can. He's taking a rest. Alright, next one. Seal up this so I don't knock it over and get it everywhere. If you don't have any neoprene, just use some of the cardboard out of the box. You know, reduce, reuse, recycle. Put it with good use. Based on some of these figures, for instance, I don't know if I can get that to focus, or here, I'll switch to the other camera. But there you go. You can see some of the lightsabers here. Very, very thin. A lot thinner than the Legion lightsabers are. Let's see if I can show you. It is pretty flexible. You know, and it's going right back into its original formed position. So I am a little nervous about any of my models potentially falling off the tabletop and taking a tumble onto the floor. I'm not sure if some of those lightsabers may last, and it'll be kind of a pain getting those to line back up. Let's see here. On to the second one. Looking for 11 and 12. It's probably back on that first sprue. There we go. Yeah, it looks like all of these in this little grid are also from this second battle droid, so it's nice when the sprues are laid out in a somewhat logical order. I know they gotta move things around to get things to fit into the sprue where they need to, but this does make things easier. I do like I'm using the Army Painter narrow edge clippers. They're nice and easy to get into those tight little spots. They do have, let's see here, they do have a wider, thicker set. They are probably too big for most of the smaller character type of sprues, but if you're cutting anything thicker or big terrain pieces off of their sprues, every once in a while you just, need to go to a bigger tool. It looks like all of them out of that grid, and what we got there? Looks like another 10 pieces out of the second droid, so we'll act like our extinct or nearly extinct Geonosians and put together some droids. Alright, I'm going to try the... Again, this is the tester's mix. Well, it's the tester's bottle. I purchased these refills and kind of dump them back and forth between the bottles to kind of get different consistencies of the sprue goo, as most in the hobby kind of know it as. Just little bits of extra sprue that you have, just chop them up really thin, throw it into your plastic cement. They dissolve and thicken it up. This is relatively one of my thinner mixes of sprue goo, but I think just a little bit of extra thickness in it will maybe help with some of these thin battle droid parts. They do have some good keying on these small parts, I will admit to that. I know I haven't built too many of the, the WizKids frameworks sets. I built a couple of them. It seems like they have some... I know those sets are meant to be very customizable and kind of posable in a lot of different ways. So there's not a lot of keying on some of those parts, but there are definitely some toothpick to toothpick type of connections on some of those models. Kind of like putting the back here on the Battle Droid's head. There we go. Tiny little pieces. And yet still bigger than the Legion models. I have not had a chance to really read through the rulebook or go in through any watch it played type of videos. Seen a few bits and pieces sped up, kind of get the gist of what the game kind of is about and what they're going for and kind of how it works. Especially some of the demos and such that came out of the Adepticon a few weeks ago. But I know some people were a little maybe disappointed when they found out that the Shatterpoint game is a little more heavier and involved than they were expecting. I guess some gamers were expecting, since Star Wars Legion is kind of their bigger army versus army game, and Shatterpoint's meant to be more of a squad-based tactical type of scale game. A lot of people were kind of assuming or thinking that the game may play quicker, more like 30 to 60 minute, type of battles. Something you could get multiple games in an afternoon. It's sounding like, based on some of the demos and rules, that Shatterpoint's a little more involved. Sounds like it's definitely going to be more towards the 2 to 4 hour type of gameplay, at least from some of the initial things that I've been hearing. But there again, haven't had a chance to read the rules myself, haven't had a chance to demo it myself. Hopefully I get all these put together and we will have demo sets ready to go at our retail stores by the weekend. I do have a couple of our customers that have already contacted me, eager to run a few of the demo sessions before the June 2nd release. Let me see here. I need to... Yep, doing all right. The other thing I like about plastic glue is just seems to set in a lot faster than super glue. At least without a kicker or an activator, which is a must in my opinion when you're working with super glue building models. Having an open bottle of activator nearby to set the super glue is key. Although whenever I'm using activator, I don't like to use they typically come in, let me see here. Oh, yep. Here's the Army Painter's version of Magic Super Glue activator. A lot of activators, they come with this spray nozzle. Tends to, kind of like a spray can of goes everywhere. A lot of times, little drops of super glue. All you really need is one little drop of activator. I like to unscrew it, maybe pump it a little bit to fill up the tube here. And then all you have to do is just barely press it down or touch it to the surface. And you're just applying the one drop of activator instead of spraying it everywhere. A lot more control in setting all your super glue points and building those models. All right, let's see. On to the third and I believe the final battle droid. Besides the, the super tactical droid? Actually, it looks like there may be several of these. Because I'm seeing what looks like battle droid here, and up here. I wonder if there's... I didn't think there were two sets of these battle droids, but maybe there's extras on the sprue. L21, 22. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because these are all L1 through, was it like L9 or 10? L10. And here again, we have L1 through L10. And here's L11 through 20. So it looks like there's two sets of the battle droids out of the box. These are, yeah, definitely two of the different sprues. Just double checking at it. Take the same sprue out of both sets. We were sent two sets. We have two retail locations in the St. Louis area. One in the Manchester De Pere area and the other in the St. Peter's area, about 20 minutes apart. Our warehouse that we ship all of our online products out of is also in the area. It's also where both of our retail stores get restocks nearly every day of the week. It also allows any customers in the area or coming through the area that want to shop online to have their order delivered free of charge to either of our retail locations for in-store pickup. We have a local board game convention coming up here in just over a week called Geekway to the West. Big board game convention. Mostly just all about playing games. A lot more, there is a little bit of a vendor kind of hall or area, but the convention itself is really keyed around people getting together and playing board games. But that's coming up here in about a week and a half. We are also doing a free delivery and pickup at Geekway for any of your online purchases. Somewhere there in the checkout screen, when you're selecting some of the options, there should be some radio buttons on where you'd like to have your order shipped. Seems like these droids are being very consistent in their construction. It has been 2 pieces for the body, 2 pieces for one of the arms, 2 2 pieces for the head, and then the gun arm, legs, and backpack. All 3 of them have seemed to be those 10 pieces. Obviously a couple different poses here, but definitely got some dry air in the room this morning. Hands are a little dry. I'm picking up some static off this neoprene, and just enough to kind of want to push some of these pieces around. There we go. I do think the thicker sprue goo version of plastic glue is definitely giving me a little more hold with these thinner pieces. So I'll probably be sticking with that for the rest of the day. Such a tiny little piece. Smallest piece on this. I don't know if the camera's not gonna auto. See if I can. Oop. There we go. It's a tiny one. That is definitely the smallest piece on these battle droids. It's the little antennas or things that stick off the back of their heads. A little bit hard to hold on to and get in there, but I guess I could pull out a set of tweezers. Now let's, like I said, dexterity game. There we go. A little bit of patience, and goes in nicely. Yes, I'm being a bit sloppy with my builds today. These are store demo copies, and yes, while I do want them to look nice for anybody coming in to check out the game, these models are probably going to get handled and more or less abused a little bit. So I'm not necessarily taking the time to go through with an X-Acto knife and shave off all the sprue burrs and clean up any kind of sprue lines or anything like that. It is looking like most of the clip joints from the sprue are pretty well hidden on the model builds, at least in most cases. Some of them look like right here, there's one kind of on the backpack, but it's on a nice edge that should be easy enough to scrape off of there with an edge of a dull X-Acto blade. I should probably glue the other arm on first. Yeah, these do have a definite monopose keying to them. I'm sure with a bit more patience than I want to spend today, you can. Some of the sculptors and miniature hobbyists out there could probably get some more unique poses out of some of these miniatures. And considering it looks like we got 2 sets on the sprues, got some opportunities to test out some things. It is a bit finicky to get that elbow joint on the second arm to line up. There we go. Get your head back into position. There. Let's see, this guy's in a kind of a shooting tactical stance. Firing from the hip, so to speak. Looks like this leg. Okay. Well, After the first set of Battle Droids, I think I'm going to move on to one of the other figures just for some variety. I think I want to do one of the figures that has one of the lightsabers, just so I can see how well those parts are going to feel when they're put together. There we go. Get your head twisted, at least in the direction you appear to be aiming. Alright. They're still a little soft, definitely with those tiny connection points, but I'm going to let them sit there before I try and go through the process of gluing them down to a base. Those connection points are small enough and they'll stay soft enough that they'll still have just enough reposability to get them to sit proper on those bases. But yeah, maybe that's why both of the large bases for the Battle Droids. Although, yeah. Just kind of scanning through the builds, the instructions here. It looks like, well, I guess the easiest answer, I could just pull out the back of the box. Wherever I put it around here. Let's see. Look at the box. Oh, I know where I put it. Right over there. Here's what some of the terrain sprues look like. But just see the massive pile of terrain pieces. Here's the Lothcat sprue. This is obviously the second set of terrain from one of the boxes, but yeah, 2 pieces for the Lothcat and the base with the little damaged astromech droid's head. Yeah. Sprues. Nice scatter terrain boxes. Tons of ladders in this set. You're going to have plenty of leftover ladders, it feels like. These are the walkway bridges. A couple of the pieces for one of the structures. Oop. There you go. That piece fell off, but there you go. That pile of sprue is all of the terrain sprues out of one core box. It's a lot. It goes together fast though. Like I said, I did build one of the sets the other day. We were hosting an X-Wing regional tournament. The Midwest Scrub Down Regional X-Wing tournament was this weekend at our Manchester store. Gold Squadron podcast was also here, live streaming. Obviously, these are the movement templates and range rulers. I did notice that on the movement templates, a little different from the Legion ones. As you can see there, that one side is clearly arced to fit around, looks like around the bases, and the other side is flat. So just a bit of a difference there between the two. Looks like another bit of a difference. Looks like they go to a 90-degree angle, pretty much. Unique tool. Like I said, haven't read the rules. I think this is some kind of maybe jump or movement tool or height movement. I'm not entirely sure. It's got some kind of arrow on there. Don't know if it's a type of thing. I don't know. Got to get into the rule book. Here's a punch board. There is one punch board in there. In the box. There's a nice reflection of my light overhead. These are pretty cool. These also came in the box, right on top. They gave you, well, here's another one of these, but on the back you can kind of see it is basically like a little diorama pop-up thing that you just bend the bottom. One of the other ones is kind of, looks like almost Ilum or something. And then on the other side of that one is, get a nice desert scene. And obviously you just bend up kind of that bottom and you've got a nice little backdrop to take pictures of your minis. Rulebook, backside does have a nice quick reference, which is great. It's like 40 pages long. Oh, and look at that. Here we go. That's the first thing I should have done. Yep, 2 sets of battle droids. So get that glare out of there. Yeah. Well, halfway there. So, but yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 16 miniatures. So, definitely going to have a couple extra bases left over. Oh, all the fun sounds of dropping plastic. Okay. Well, now that we've got that figured out, so yes, there are definitely 2 sets of the battle droids, and based on the numbering on the sprues, it looks like they're going to be, and off the image on the back of the box, looks like they're going to be identical posing on that, unless you want to get creative. Let's see, I'm gonna, by the way, the battle droids are like the last figures in the instruction book to build. Don't know if they're trying to say anything with that, but let's see here. Let's go with the first one in the book. Anakin, he's got a lightsaber, one of the lightsabers, and it'll be, looks like a lot faster to put him together. Fewer parts. Looks like he's right here. Alright, moment of truth. I think it's probably safer with these lightsabers to clip the blade connection first, just so it's not taking any of the weight off the piece. This is going to be fun for all those painters out there, getting those little sprue connections scraped off of these rather diving board-esque lightsabers. The plastic is nice though. They do have a good quality plastic that is bouncing right back into place. You can see it is giving quite a bit of flex. I am honestly surprised. It is, I am starting to get a little bit of, just may have gone a little too far there at the connection point. But yeah, that is actually surprising how much flex is in that plastic that is going right back into its form. It's nice to see it's not brittle and just going to snap at the first breath, or one errant dice goes bouncing across the table and takes out a force wielder. Looks like all of Anakin's pieces. So there we go. It's like only 7 for him. Looks like they're doing a lot of the front and back torso pieces like a lot of the modeling companies do. Keeps a lot of the detail in the figures. Definitely his Clone Wars era outfit with the tunic splay here. That is an interesting connection. There we go. Let's see. Oh, looks like we got a few people watching. Looks like Battle Droids are 3 on a base. Yes, 250mm bases for the droids. Thank you very much, Otis, in the chat. I did not have that up on my screen. I had the instructions over the top of it. Thank you for joining us. Anybody else out there watching? Or watching this later at a different time after the live stream. This will be up on our YouTube channel. Most likely for the foreseeable future. We have been doing live streaming most of our events over the past 6-7 months. We've been trying it out, testing the waters. Did a little test case last October with, not kidding, a cheap as can be little webcam off of Amazon, and it was, well, certainly nothing that our now technical director is quite proud of, but we've come a long way with our streams, and we only have our customers and fans to thank for that. We did just hit 1,000 subscribers this past weekend during the X-Wing Scrub Down Regional. Sure, it had nothing to do with Gold Squadron being in the building and doing a little bit of collaboration with us as we were streaming at the same time. That way, anybody in the X-Wing community could check out 2 of the different tables playing this weekend at the regional. There we have Anakin. It is nice pose. You know what? Since we're here, I'm going to seal this back up just to see how much of a potential pain this could be. This is a very used, dull X-Acto knife, and is probably the best thing that I have found to use to scrape mold lines and those little sprue connection burrs. Actually, that wasn't too bad. Came right off. But yeah. Dull X-Acto blade. You will notice I was scraping towards me. I know some people will freak out about that, but honestly, it is the safest way to handle a blade when you're making those fine motor skill type of cuts. You can check out some of the very professional award-winning chefs that and how they wield some of their tools in those fine, delicate moments. Let's see. Alright, Anakin's done. Just scrolling down here. Looks like Rex. Yeah, I'm into building Rex. Looks like he's got a couple of different head sculpts to choose from. B1, B2. Definitely some of the Mandalorian with the jetpack smoke trails, which I do like these sculpts a lot more than obviously than the Legion ones that technically don't even have the smoke trail sculpts. At least most of them don't. Here we go. Here's Rex up here, right next to Anakin, of course. Yep. It looks like he's got several pieces on him, including the clone helmet. Looks like it's even in at least 2 different pieces. It's nice with everything right here close to each other. You can kind of go through and clip everything from one angle before you have to spin the sprue around. We are not literally spinning the things in circles. There you go. If it's loose, clip it. I did mention that we do have a couple of customers that are eager to start running some demos of Shatterpoint before its release on June 2nd. They have already started scheduling things on our calendar, our very busy and packed game room calendars, to start running Shatterpoint as soon as it releases. So we'll be doing kind of weekly events for Shatterpoint. Hopefully they will be... Atomic Mass will be supporting the game with some OP kits and tournament kits and such, like they do with Legion. We do have a nice growing Legion community at our Cave Springs location in St. Peters on Cave Springs Boulevard. All of our customers and employees tend to refer to our stores by the street names, so I'm at our Manchester location in De Pere, Missouri, obviously on Manchester Road, and like I was mentioning, our St. Peter's location off of Cave Springs Boulevard is where our Star Wars Legion community has been getting together on every Friday night. It's been growing quite a lot over the last few months. We ran a kind of themed Star Wars day back in early December, I believe. Can't quite see how these pieces are fitting together. We ran a Star Wars day, themed Star Wars day. There we go. Early in December. It was basically all the Star Wars miniature games: X-Wing, Armada, Legion, and actually we had some of the RPGs, basically running demos and little mini tournaments all day long. It's a nice, fun kind of thematic day. Actually, we raffled off one of the, as a door prize, free to enter, is anybody that came in the door and demoed any of the games or played any of the tournaments. We gave away one of the Star Wars Armada Super Star Destroyer models. Easily a couple $100 on the SRP. Funny thing is, I believe the guy that won it was so big he didn't quite have room for it on his shelf, so I believe he gave it to one of the Armada instructors that showed him how to play the game that day. So we got a nice set of gamers and a good community here in the area. We do run all sorts of gaming events 7 days a week at both of our retail locations. The only days that we are not running events are the days that we are closed. Comes out to, well, between the two stores in the St. Louis area, it comes out to roughly almost 2,000 events in a year. Obviously, our weeknight events, and try and keep some of our bigger one-off tournament style events on Saturdays, obviously, is when the majority of everybody can get together. Oop. Need to let that set a little longer. Let's retouch that. Looks like he got the Darth Maul treatment there. Sliced right in half at the waist. There we go. Let's see. We want to build Rex with the head, the bear head, or the helmet. It actually looks like they do have the detailing on the helmet. Actually, it's going to be impossible for my camera to pick that up, but it actually looks like the paint detail markings for the uniqueness at the top of Rex's helmet, there on the forehead, is actually sculpted into the model. Nice little touch. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and put that one on once I get the arms attached. You know, got to do it in the Voltron order. The head always comes last. Legs and arms and then the head. There we go. Like he's got a nice dynamic pose, especially with all the tunic there. Looks like it's got some nice motion in it. That'll be fun to paint. Let's see. Looks like we got looks like we got the small little canister that goes onto the back of the belt there. Make sure his legs are set and stable. And lined up properly. There we go. There is a small little bit of keying right there on the back of the belt. Tiny little notch. Definitely the smallest part on this build. Oof, this is going to be fun. This may be the one that gets me to pull out a set of tweezers. Ugh. Let's see here. Get it to roll and get that nub to fit down into the joint. There we go. My fingers are just small enough to get that to work. That's going to be fun for anybody with bigger hands than I have. Definitely have your other tools handy and available. This is the shoulder pad. Kind of looks like a generic clone arm with the standard shoulder pad there, although with the, I guess with the neck, there we go, a little bit of captain's flair to it. Oh, there we go. I do see the keying now. It's way up there on the neck. Small piece of keying right there on the upper shoulder of the torso. And getting just to the level where my brush doesn't want to reach the current level of my sprue goo. It sits right in there, lined up perfectly with his aim. Nice tactical pose. And a bonus head. Can never have too many clone heads just laying around. Let's see. Well, the next one on the list is Clone Troopers, but I kind of, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan. Yeah, let's do Bo-Katan. I kind of want to do a Mandalorian to check out some of these jetpack trails. Let's see, she is E1, actually, this is Bo-Katan right here. Again, it looks like got the with and without helmet sprue options here. Yep, looks like that's where she's at. I have a bad habit of not screwing this cap on, and I will knock that over if I'm not careful. If it was a pot of Numb Oil or Agrax Earthshade, it would have already been all over the place. And all of you Games Workshop Warhammer Age of Sigmar modelers out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Actually, this is the first piece of excess sprue that I have seen on a model piece that needs to be clipped off. Everything else has actually remained attached to the main sprue. But something like that makes an excellent thing to drop into your plastic glue to thicken it up and make your own consistency of sprue goo. A little tough to tell where the sprue connection and the joint key little piece actually meet up on, at least on a couple of these pieces. Bo-Katan's unhelmeted head, or maybe it's just my eyes and the glare off of this light. Okay. Got all of Bo-Katan's pieces here. It is interesting that they do have these jet trails and two actually disconnected pieces, it looks like. Looks like there's some kind of keying in there. Let's see. Yeah. Looks like Otis is a fan of our Marvel Crisis Protocol streams. We've done a couple of them so far. Again, at our St. Peter's Cave Springs location, we have first Saturday of every month. The group gets together and does a little casual tournament. Or tries to, as long as we get enough people show up. Also have Crisis Protocol players on, let me see here, it is Marvel Mondays at the Cave Springs St. Peter's locations. A little bit of Crisis Protocol, definitely some Marvel Champions players that show up. And then Friday nights at our Manchester De Pere location is some of the same members also playing Crisis Protocol every Friday night. So we have Crisis Protocol at our Manchester location on Fridays and Star Wars Legion at our Cave Springs location every Friday. Is that an arm or a leg? It is an arm. Oh, she's got a pointing type of pose. There we go. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. She's got her fist and firing the wrist rockets or whistling birds or flamethrower or whichever weapon she's got mounted on her gauntlet for the day. I guess Bo-Katan, oh, what is it? In the recent Mandalorian, she's got her shield built on that gauntlet, I believe. Thought I did see a little shield piece, but I think that's on the Gar Saxon model. And the classic mid-flight pose, one leg down and one leg bent up. Seems to be one of the few ways to get a good flight pose out of a humanoid figure. Just put together a bunch of Warhammer Tau Crisis suits a few weeks ago, and all of those in flight stance ended up being something similar, with the knee halfway up to the hip kind of pose. It's nice that you've got the jetpack and the smoke trails on this, and it does, you can get a pretty nice height out of it. It looks like it's going to have forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, at least it's not, oh, at least it's not a kind of a small base-mounted tactical rock that kind of a single foot is mounted to. Looks like the figure's leaping off of the ground awkwardly. This definitely gives it the better impression that she is in mid-flight. Oh, that's what that is. Two-part helmet, one part for the unhelmeted head. Again, my camera is definitely not going to pick up the detail on this, but good detail on the sculpt. Definitely get the furrowed brow, a little bit of a wrinkle right there between her eyes. Bo-Katan's angsty rust face. Resting Ink's face, I guess, is the proper order of that. I guess unless you're Yoda. Can't get enough to get... There we go. Get into that connection. There we go. Yeah. Nice keying on it. Gives you exactly the orientation that the model is intended to be. Again, great detailing on the helmet here. Definitely can see all of the kind of scroll work that is and detailing that is there inherently on Bo-Katan's helmet. So, nice detailing on the model. Again, the nice classic flight stance, and get her mounted to her jetpack. And this one, you know what, I may just go ahead and clip out one of those smaller bases and get her mounted to it. Mostly just so I can see the height on this figure. There we go. Smoke trails do connect together there at the bottom, and just a tiny little gap there between the flame on the jetpack and the smoke trail. Just a nice little touch that they are two separate materials. Oh, looks like there is a bit of a keying here on her foot into that smoke trail that I missed. Just gonna get a little sloppy with it so I don't screw up the entire model. There we go. Nice. That's the other thing I like about plastic glue. You can get a little sloppy with it, go over the edges, and as long as it's not too detailed and your plastic glue isn't too potent that it's going to melt off any of that detail, it can go on your surface of your minis and definitely will not leave the big chunky white stained piece of garbage that super glue will. Let's see, it looks like all four of these sets of bases are identical, maybe? Well, those two definitely line up. And these line up. It does look like they are mirrored, or these are, it's weird that they're not the exact same sprue. Not sure why they decided to do that, but it's interesting that those don't stack. What do I know? Let's see, for Bo-Katan's flight, I think I kind of like this one best. It's got a lot of movement and action with the scoring there on the base. Yep. Nice. Alright, that's a little rough. Oof. Sure, that sounds great on the stream. All sorts of background noise. Near enough to a few other rooms. This is an active store. We are streaming live in the middle of the day. We are open for business, so no telling what could happen in the background. There we go. Let's see, this way, or I think maybe that way. Nice, thick, gloppy coat of the thick sprue goo, plastic cement, especially with this type of connection. It'll hold the weight nice and fast. Look at that. Touch it, it's already holding to it. And tip this on the side, it's not falling off, but it's still movable enough to get it positioned and lined up. Do that with super glue. There we go. Let me set her down next to the wolf cat, and I'll flip over here. Firing the gauntlet and holding the other pistol up. Nice dynamic diagonal on the sculpt. Really good posing. That'll be fun to paint. There we go. Let's see. Put another head for the graveyard off to the side. Clan Kryze, Mandalorians, Lord Maul. You know what? I was talking about it. Let's do Gar Saxon. He does have, yeah, right there it is. I believe the Mandalorian little energy shield, personal shield. Let's see. Oops. Sure, that sounds great on everybody else out there listening. Yeah, each one does look like this set here. Looks like he's got quite a few pieces. Looks like he's holding them longer. Oh, he's got alternate assembly options. So there is an option for Gar Saxon here. Okay. Looks like he's got an option to be mounted holding a sniper rifle, or an option to be very similar to Bo-Katan, that he's got his right arm pistol kind of up in the air behind him, and he's holding his left arm gauntlet out with the energy shield. For anybody out there that wants to put the energy shield on Bo-Katan, actually the arms may be just interchangeable enough that you'll get the right angle and posing, and nobody will be able to notice. Yep. That was another one of those spots that I definitely just clipped the tiny little key nub off of Gar Saxon's gauntlet arm there. It's a tiny little peg that's right there that attached to the sprue peg. And sure enough, that tiny little peg is what goes into this small little hole here on the back of that energy shield. So when you're clipping these off, just be very careful about where the sprue ends and where the piece actually begins. Some of these are lined up pretty well. But like I said, they did a great job of putting those connections in spots where the figure is going to be glued together anyways, so it's hiding a lot of those little burrs. A little less work in the long run. Again, I am not going through that step of the miniature building process, since these are meant to be more store demo copies that will be very well handled. I will most likely be priming these up and throwing on some speed paints probably to just get these kind of quickly colored up. You know, the Army Painter 2.0 speed paints just recently came out. I haven't had a chance to try the 2.0 formula yet. I do have the big set from the 1.0 formula. A lot of people didn't, some of the bigger painters out there didn't really care for the formula because the paint could be reactivated with water. Personally, I found that as more of a feature instead of a bug. Especially for anybody that is a brand new to the hobby of miniature painting. I've been painting for 7 to 10 years. I've completely lost track at this point, but I did find that with that ability to reactivate the Army Painter 1.0 formula, you could be a little more forgiving with the exactness when painting a figure, especially with like I said, with new painters. If you went over over your detail line, you can get a wet brush and pretty much erase the paint right off, which was great. Some of the other kind of speed paint competitors, like Citadel, for instance, they're oh shoot, I'm blanking on it now. But basically, their version of the speed paint is it's a lot more potent in its pigment. It definitely stains, I guess, the figure a lot easier, and it is more so one of those types of consistencies that if you do accidentally go over your line, it's going to stay on there for the most part. You can kind of get some of it off if you're quick, but if you're painting on a white or zenithal highlighted model or prime model, in most cases you're probably going to have to just reprime that spot, because trying to put any other kind of speed paint or that type of formula paint over the top, you will certainly see the miscoloration showing through. Alright. So, personally I like the Army Painter 1.0 formula. I have seen some of the other painters on YouTube testing out some of the early copies of it. It seems like that formula does have like a 20-minute working time to it that can be reactivated. But it does sound like it sets in about 20 minutes. Looks like somebody in the chat mentioning they'd like to try the Vallejo. I did. Let's see, let's see if I can reach it here without bumping the mic. Did get, of course, the barcode's right over the label there. There's one of the model colors. Wait, no, that's just a standard one. I have another one somewhere, but these are the Vallejo. Oh, yeah, there we go. Express Color, that's the name of them. This one kind of came damaged in one of our packaging, so I got to take it out of inventory and got to play with it myself. So your copy will not come all stained and messy like this one, but I did have a chance to try it out. Maybe that's something I'll do on one of these streams here in the future. Compared to the Army Painter, the Vallejo just felt, I don't know, silkier. Just flowed off the brush a little easier, had a little bit more, I guess, kind of paint consistency to it. Not as, quote, watery as some of the Army Painter speed paints are. Very good, good pigments. Stays on pretty good. I can't seem to locate the figure that I tested it out on the other day. Well, they basically gave me, I got a red and a bronze, so it's what it was called, but it was definitely more of a brown kind of look. Certainly didn't have any kind of real metallic fleck in it or anything. Contrast paints, thank you very much. I was going to go crazy trying to remember what those are. So yeah, Citadel contrast paints, Army Painter speed paints, and the Vallejo model color, or Express Color. Let's see. Taking my time here. Let's gotta decide. Anybody in the chat wants to make the determination? Are we going to go with the sniper rifle or the gauntlet shield for Gar Saxon here? I'll let anybody decide in the chat, or see what whichever option gets the most votes by the time I get to gluing the arms on. Sounds like Green Stuff World is also going to be dropping a version of some kind of speed paint line of inks. Inks, it sounds like. Interesting. I have done a little bit of painting with both alcohol and acrylic-based inks. I do like using them for certain projects. They're a lot glossier, a lot more intense with the color. I don't know why I just screwed that shut. The inks are great for, well, personally, I like so far using them for things like Crisis Protocol or comic book style figures. I don't know, the medium of ink just seems to go well with that style of figure. That is definitely his back leg. Again, the classic flight pose of knee halfway to the hip and the other one straight down. Actually, this one's a little bit more further back on the bend there at the knee. Maybe. No. Definitely got a interesting bend in his torso and kick with his leg. See how that turns out. Let me get everything mounted to him. Oh goodness. Alright, those are definitely holsters, and that looks like... What are those? Those are... Looks like they are the upper arm pieces. Shoulder pad and upper arm. They are very hard to pick up with my fat fingers. They are slightly keyed differently on the back. That's nice. One is slightly thicker than the other. trying to see where that fits, though. Well, it looks like we got 2 votes for the sniper, so let's just go ahead and mount the sniper, and then we'll figure out where all those other pieces go. Oh, it looks like one of them is a piece of his gauntlet there for holding the sniper rifle. And the other one is clearly... Oop, geez. All right. Turning this into a disaster here. Get that leg line back up. There we go. Looks like he's gonna have a nice downward angle kind of shot from firing from his jetpack. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. I'm just jumping around for my own sanity that I'm not losing track of what all of these pieces are. Just gonna glue his holsters with the pistol still tucked inside. There is one of the holsters, it looks like, without the pistol, for if you want to build the option that he's holding that in his right hand. There we go. That is the gauntlet arm. This is the other rifle arm. A little bit awkward, but honestly, I've put together so many Space Marines that was easier than some I've put together with that kind of 2-armed configuration of how the models go together. All right, so one of these is definitely the gauntlet there, and I'm assuming, yeah, it looks like they give you 2 different options. One of them gets mounted onto the holding the pistol, and the other one's going onto the option of holding the sniper rifle. I swear they look like identical pieces, except for the small bit of difference in the keying on the back of it. And honestly, I'm having a hard time distinguishing which one's going to go on this one. Looks like that's going to dry fit in there nicely. There we go. Easy enough. Oh, it's just me or that. Something about that leg pose, the leg kick, just seems maybe a little awkward. I'll reserve judgment until I get them mounted on the jetpack. Alright. Human head or, well, I mean, given the option here, definitely go with the cool horned Death Watch. Death Watch version of the helmet when Darth Maul took control of Mandalore. Again, nice keying on the helmet and the head. Yeah, it does get a nice alignment for the helmet, kind of looking down the sniper scope there. And now that that's in there, honestly, I can see the posing with the leg. Kind of looks more like a jump back out of the way while firing type of pose. There we go. Yeah. Oop. Okay, I've been proven wrong. I do kind of like that pose. In fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and mount it to one of these bases and get a closer look at it. And since I did it on the last base, I'm just going to do a quick scrape with the dull X-Acto blade. There we go. Okay. Get a nice thick big glop on there. Definitely be able to grip and hold onto the plastic very fast. All right. Maybe should have dry fit this a little bit before, but I think I'm just going to go with that alignment. There we go. Slide them over here next to Bo-Katan, and I'll get a better look at its pose. Yeah. Just this angle kind of right there, the leg just looks a little awkward a little too wide on the kick maybe, but I get what they're going for in the sculpt. That's probably his hero shot angle right there. Alright, before I spill this, screw that back on, get all these out of the way. Alright, let's see. What should we build next? Ooh, Asajj. Asajj Ventress is speaking to me right now. Where is she? That's definitely Ahsoka with the 2 lightsabers. There's Asajj with her 2. Very nervous about these cuts next to those thin lightsaber blades. Also be careful with that one. Again, her hilts are right up to that sprue connection, so careful you don't clip the hilts off her lightsabers when you're taking it off the sprue. There we go. Looks like a relatively simple one to piece together. The other great thing about the plastic glue sprue goo kind of mixture is something like this. You can kind of see, I don't know if I can pick that up on the camera, you can kind of see the seam where those 2 pieces just met together. It did a good job of hiding it in the folds of the cloak here. But if you ever do have kind of a wider gap seam, I'm going to go with the thinner mix, but you can essentially just take a quick little swipe of the plastic glue, and it'll just melt that top surface and seal that edge together, and it just fills that gap so nice. Hides any of those kind of little imperfections, and you can also use it. I also use it quite a bit for, let me see, any of the sprue burrs that would be visible. See, like right there on the side of her torso. You can just do a little touch on it. Granted, I'm not gluing anything to that spot, but just a little bit of chemical in there will just kind of melt away that little sprue burr, and you won't have anything to worry about. Especially handy if it's in a tight spot that can't really get X-Acto blades, or even if, kind of like here, Asajj has got some very detailed wrapping there on her torso. The sprue is right there on the wrapping, but quick little touch of the plastic cement, the burr is gone, but the detail of the wrapping is still visible. At least with my eye right now, and not without a paint or a priming on the miniature yet. There we go. There is just enough of a gap between that front piece of fabric there that anybody that's going to paint this, if you want to really do it, I highly recommend building in substages if you're going to try and paint all that nice flowing robe of hers. Get into that tiny little gap in there. There, kind of picked it up right there. Definitely sub-assembly painting on that one, if you want to get super detailed with it. Need to get some more plastic glue and kind of top off my pot here, getting right to the level where the brush just barely gets to the glue left inside. There we go. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but she does have doing the two-finger force kind of movement there with her holding the saber, and looks like she's in the middle of doing some kind of force power. You can definitely see the individual fingers on the sculpt. Really good detailing. And if I was smart about it, I should have taken the burrs off of these lightsabers before I glued her on, but too late now. Yeah. There we go. One behind, kind of doing a block in front with the other one while maybe doing a force push or something. Good dynamic pose. They did, great job with the movement in her robe. A lot of these definitely look like they've, actually here, she'll stand on her own. That arm's not quite secured just yet. Get my hand out of the way. There we go. Yeah. Nice pose. Just coming at you. All right. Well, let's see. Kalani is the next one on the assembly PDF here. So honestly, he's a unique kind of sculpt to him, so I'm just going to go ahead and do him. There he is. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Kalani. He is the, super tactical droid? All the fun background noise going on at the store. Can't be helped, and we won't apologize for it. This is kind of done last minute, spur of the moment type of scenario. We haven't done one of these just kind of hobby hangout, kind of build or paint type of sessions yet on our live stream, so needed to build these figures anyway, so might as well turn on the camera and do a little bit of both at once. But yeah, if we do end up doing something like this again in the future with a little bit more preparation, maybe I'll try and find some what am I thinking, like open source or free use lo-fi music or something to go on in the background here, just to add some more ambiance. This has been a pretty interesting and fun build so far. The Battle Droids have been, you know, the finickiest so far, but I do feel like they were slightly easier than the Legion ones to deal with. There are a lot of little pieces here. Okay, that is his head. And this is the tiny little neck joint. Again, I mean, smaller than a fingertip type pieces here. Good detailing on them, but oof. Have your tweezers ready. Let that sit and firm up. All right, hips, arm. Oh, looks like he's got a couple options here as well with his arm. Yep, we've got one option where again he's holding the right hand with the pistol aiming upwards and the left arm kind of outward pointing in a tactical kind of pose. Sorry. The other option is, well, it looks like this hand is just kind of bent at the elbow and sitting there. This one is a little two-piece, but it's got a little, looks like a little model of a city for the like hologram projector. It's being held in his hand. It's. I think I like that one. It's an interesting piece. It'd be fun to paint that the kind of hologram blue in the style. I think this is going to be the second most finickiest model out of the core box. It's definitely right there along with the Battle Droids. They do have good, like I said, good keying in the parts, but these connections in particular are just very small. Very tips of the toothpicks. Boy, this is going to be awkward. I'm going to have to get his torso mounted to that hip joint fast, otherwise he's going to get firmed up, leaning over forwards. Or sitting down on the ground. Oh, goodness. Maybe we'll start with that. Glue the hips to the torso first, and then... oh. Alright. Glue the hips to the torso first, and then worry about the legs later. Make sure I've got that pointing in the right direction. Can't pull the 3PO and have his back to front. Well, let's see. Oh, come on. Oh boy. He may be one of those that pretty much are going to have to glue to the base almost at the same time as lining his legs up. I'm going to let him sit there a bit and maybe firm up that plastic glue. Comment in the chat, left the stream PC set up one time and he goes and starts making content. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Tom, our technical director on a lot of our streams. He did leave the our big streaming PC here in my office. And yeah, he left the PC set up, but believe me, there's a lot of other things that have to be set up to get a stream like this to work. Soundboard, microphones, cameras, tripods. Oof. Yeah, these connections. He's just got those tiny little nubs sticking off the torso to attach his limbs. I'm going to let that elbow firm up a bit more. In fact, I may just let all of him just kind of firm up a bit more before I mess with those arms. But yeah, the other option there was arm up and pointing out kind of command position. Oh, the battle droids. Oh, I do have that. There is a second set of battle droids that does need to be built, but I'm not eager to go straight into that again. Let's see. Anybody got any wish lists of next one to build next? Or actually, Darth Maul looks pretty cool. Yeah. Let's go with Darth Maul. Another one of the unique sculpts. Let's see. Not this. Nope, not this sprue. There it is. Yep, here it is. Darth Maul. Easy to spot with the double-bladed lightsaber. Looks like this is the second piece of excess flashing sprue. It's not attached to the main frame of it. It needs to be clipped off. Not a big deal, but they've done a good job on the sprue layout, keeping all the pieces of each character organized and together. I mean, it allows me to basically, just like right now, I don't need to look at the instructions. I know that all of these G numbered ones in this grid are going to go to the same figure. I say G, lettered ones. Each one of these has a unique letter for the character, so really easy to spot out which ones you need to clip off the frame. Maul's head is a two-piece front and back. I guess so they can get those spikes head spikes to form in the sprue in the molding process. Every once in a while you come across one of these models and you just gotta wonder why it was an extra piece and not just formed together. Rocket Raccoon's nose for the Crisis Protocol set comes to mind. Why is that a separate piece? Feels like it really could have just been molded into the other one on that sprue. Maul sculpt. He's partially built. He's got a nice big hole straight through the middle of his waist. Definitely kind of gives him the appearance of the mid-chop. And now it's keying for his belt and other pieces here. There we go. Easy enough. So far, building anything that doesn't have the word droid in its title has been fairly easy to put together. Oh, that is definitely the wrong leg in that spot. That key's a lot better. If I had some glue in there. Why isn't that not wanting to stick? There we go. Nice commanding sculpt there from Maul. Kind of similar to the stance that Ventress has. A little bit. Kind of left arm out with the saber and leaning back a bit. I really wish the cameras could pick up the detail on some of these sculpts. The detailing in the face is fantastic. All the kind of tattoo sculpt lines or detail lines on Maul's face are actually sculpted into the model's head. Very cool touch. There we go. And there's Maul. Let's see if we can get him in there. And he's got that, you know, all the lightsabers very thin. He's going to be particularly fun to try and transport around between game sessions. All of these are going to be pretty fun to try and figure out a good foam solution to keep these in one piece. I think we're getting down to Battle Droid. One of the Mandalorians. Oh, clone troopers. Oh, and Ahsoka. I completely forgot. Let's do Ahsoka. Oh. So thin. So very thin. Somebody asking about Maul's model. Is he pre or post chop? Let's see. I believe he's probably post chop. It looks like he does have, at least from the timeline that all of these others seem to be taking place in, is the Clone Wars era. It does seem like he has the kind of metallic joints there at the ankles and feet and up to the shin at least. His thigh is covered in the pant fabric material. But I'm pretty sure this is definitely post-chop after he got his legs from Dathomir. Best hero for last. Absolutely. When they talk about bringing balance to the Force, I honestly believe that Ahsoka is the one that they truly meant. Anakin may have been the one that trained her, but she's the one that's probably going to be the most interesting middle path to see in the coming series. Yep, looks like I got a roll. Let's see, that's a Battle Droid arm. So many pieces. Need to find Ahsoka here on the PDF build on Atomic Mass Games website, where the only place you can find the build instructions are on their website, just like Star Wars Legion. They will not be found in the box. Alright, this is becoming enough of a problem that I'm just going to go ahead and get me some more volume in here. Luckily, both Testers and Tamiya brand plastic glues are mixable. They're pretty sure they're nearly the same formula. At least they react very similar. I have mixed these together in the past, but now my sprue glue is definitely a lot more thinned out, but we'll just carry on with the build. The head is in at least 2 pieces. My big fingers are having a hard time holding these things to line up the pieces. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, good. As always, good detailing on the face. The details, you know, sculpted into the face, which makes it nice to have some kind of a guide so you're not free-handing any kind of paint jobs. I did go through that process of painting on custom paint jobs for my clone trooper army for Legion. Well, there we go. Sometimes the angles are just kind of hard to pick up and which way the pieces are going to fit together. looks like this is, oh, her, of course, the third head tail there in the back. There we go. Let's see. She should have, yeah, the small one in the left hand. This is going to be another one of those for the painters that you may want to do some sub-assembly on. Ahsoka's head tails are definitely going to be coming down over the top of some of that fabric, and there is enough gaps in there to clearly have a view behind. Maybe a little hard, it's probably going to be too hard to see, but yeah, like right there, there's just enough of a gap and under her shoulder to maybe want to do some sub-assembly painting on her. But there's Ahsoka. Let's see if I can. Well, here, I'm just going to go ahead and glue her to her base, and it'll just be easier to get her in front of the camera. Might as well just glue all these to the base at this point. If I can adjust my light to get a little more detail in there. But the classic Ahsoka pose. Oop. I'm having a hard time spinning around. Need to get a little turntable. But yeah, detailing on all of these models has just been fantastic. Just that little bit step up in scale has allowed them to put a lot more detail than the Legion series. Give me one second. I'm gonna need to do a little bit of other work here. Take care of something real fast. Sorry about the delay. I'll be right back there with you. There we go. I had to send a quick message to one of my other coworkers, or respond to one of their messages. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and put Maul onto a base. Got so used to having the nice thick sprue goo mixture of my plastic cement that thinning it out that much has definitely changed. Changes effectiveness. Oop. There we go. That's good. Let's get this. Just go ahead and mount the rest of these on bases while we're at it. Super tactical droid and the battle droids especially. Those are going to be real fun to try and get stuck to the bases and standing up straight. Let's see. Looks like the legs have definitely firmed up enough now. Excuse the noise. I'm going to check out the back of the box again and see what kind of arrangement that they had these droids in. Oh, that glare's fun. There we go. Focus. Not going to. But looks like they did the exact same arrangement on both of those bases. Not to say that that's what we need to do, but just kind of get an idea of what their spacing is supposed to look like. All right. This is definitely for the big one, or these guys need the bigger bases. Oh, I know, let's see. I know a lot of people online have been asking the base sizes. I'm pretty sure they are 40 mil and 50 mil, but This is a millimeter ruler right here that, sure enough, right there at 4 centimeters and, yep, 5 centimeters. So 40 mil and 50 mil. I have provided proof. Let's see. Now I'm regretting thinning out the plastic cement sprue goo mix. That little bit of extra thickness really comes in handy. Just holding those pieces in place a lot faster. Not too bad. Assembling them is definitely the bigger struggle than putting them on the bases. Okay, tactical droid. Pardon me, super tactical droid. Although Kalani doesn't like to be called that. He decided to give himself a name, so he wants to be called Kalani. I don't know which posing I want to get. You know what? May just be easier with his weird little leg connections to just get him on the base first. Oops. Trying to figure out which way his legs are supposed to be. He's kind of got a weird angle in his legs. This is one that I'm not feeling a lot of the keying in the parts. I mean, especially it's pretty much just round little stub nubs for his shoulders and his hips. You can kind of see the get that out of the way. You can see the profile there, but he's a bit. He may be a little more awkward to put together than even the battle droids. Really should have kept the thicker sprue goo. Oops. Yeah, I just made a mess. And that's why I have a scrap piece of neoprene down. It just absorbs all of that glue, paint, ink, whatever else. And, yeah, no longer a problem. Alright. Actually. Yeah. Seal the bottle before shaking. Just, let's see. Huh, yeah. It looks like, just confirming what the instructions there, that this arm just kind of sits there in front of his waist. Like he's, I don't know, reaching for a belt buckle or something. I do like the little city hologram piece, but I gotta say, this is probably the weakest sculpt that I've seen out of the core set. Doesn't have anywhere near as much dynamic movement there in the sculpt itself. He does, like I said, he's got a weird, awkward kind of lean in his pose. And actually, oh, well, there's, let's see if I can get this. Oh, let's go to the other one. There we go. There we go. Actually, it looks like they, on the back here, they put the pointing arm on instead of the in front of the belt. Although, in the instruction manual, online, it is this set that is shown together. And, let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and just rip that arm off and put the pointing one on. I think it's going to be a better look in the long run. Plastic glue is still just soft enough to be able to manipulate the pieces and change them out. That's at least a little more interesting. Little pose. Get his foot firmly glued down. Now, if I can just get this arm to stay up, holding that hologram. Boy. Yeah, it's at least a little better. A little more interesting with the arm out instead of just, I don't know, reaching for his crotch. Not entirely sure what they were going for with that option. Spread out. There's our Wolf Cat, Bo-Katan, Rex. Slide him up in the front here a little bit. We got Gar Saxon, built with the sniper rifle option. Darth Maul. Anakin, sneaking up from behind. All the Battle Droids. Ventress, Ahsoka, and a super tactical droid. I don't know, just something, not a big fan of the way that this leg is slightly smaller or bent, that it's not a straight line across with its hips, that it is got this little bit of a kilter in it. I don't know, it's got the pose is just a little awkward maybe. I don't know, it's something there in the hips and the waist, but that is where the keying fit at the waist joint. So probably the weakest sculpt out of the box, but good detailing, as all of them. Really, really nice fine details. That is for the other Battle Droid set. Okay. Let's see, I think all we have left now are a couple clone troopers, some Mandalorians, and some battle droids. Yep, pretty sure it's all, everything left is the unnamed characters. Well, let's see. This sprue is closer to being empty, so let's just start with that. Since these are battle droids, I'm going to start with this Mandalorian. Oop. I think I just hit another one of those spots where I may have cut a little too far up on these off the sprue. Yeah. I've said it before. Some of the connection points to this sprue, it's great that they have that connection point where the model is going to be glued together. But some of the alignment and just the thickness of the sprue piece here versus the intended connection point is very close to being identical in size and shape. So this is the back of one of the Mandalorian heads right there at the neck. Is another one of those that looks like I may have clipped the part of the keying for the model off. That's all right. I'll glue the head on anyway, but backwards. There we go. Tough to hold these little parts. Basically just to get a grip on them. There we go. Let's see. Yep. Looks like we're going to have another one of the classic flight poses with the knee bent and the other leg straight. Although this time it's the left or the right leg that's bent instead of the left leg. Changing it up. There we go. A little awkward. Yeah. The pistol in the holster. Separate piece just because it hangs out just enough away from the body that it needed to be sculpted and built separately. But, let's see, let's put this helmet together. Another one of the front and back helmets. And I think I'm going to put the arms on before I go for the helmet so I know what's a good way to face that head. Feels like it wants to go in there with our arm raised, but that definitely doesn't look right. It doesn't quite feel right. Let's see. There we go. 180 degrees. Back and downward. Sprue goo, definitely the way to go with these. The thin plastic cement is just a little too thin to want to grip the pieces quickly enough. There we go. That is one of the Mandalorians. Let's go ahead and get her on a base. Yep. Another nice dynamic angle of that sculpt. Again with the split jet trails, smoke trails off the jetpack. There is the flame up there, and then the smoke. I like that they added that little detail in there. Let's see. Oop. That was weird. Yeah, complete detached there between the foot and that back smoke trail. It is completely held up by the only connection there at the backpack, the jetpack. A lot of good dynamic diagonals in these sculpts. You know what? We haven't built a clone trooper yet. Let's build a clone trooper. There's one. This is another one of those. From this angle, it looks like I should be clipping almost here, right up against the head. I don't know if that's picking up on the camera, but there is definitely, from the slight other angle, there is definitely a notch there that there is intended to be a stub there on the bottom of that head. So yeah, watch those piece to sprue connection points. Some of them are very deceptive. At least if you don't catch it from a good angle visually. Yeah, let's see.
Pikachu. That's a bathroom. It's a bathroom kit.
Yeah. We are a open and for business retail store, so we get fun things like that. People moving chairs in the game room and taking kids to the bathroom. I don't know how much of that's picking up on the mic, but all part of the fun. I was at least kind enough to shut my back door so that nobody had to listen to the neighbors mowing their lawn this afternoon. Gorgeous day here in St. Louis, Missouri. Would totally love having that back door open and, or honestly, just to be outside all day long. There we go. That is looking away from his, where a stormtrooper should be aiming, or a clone trooper. Sorry. There is a difference. Both in armor and aim. There we go. Let's see. Slide some more of these over. Our frame is getting very full of all these figures. They're all hiding behind each other. But here's our latest clone trooper. Looks like he's keeping watch on the rear flank, making sure nobody's coming up from behind. All right, sculpt. Looks like he's got, you know, a little bit of movement, some weight shift there in the body. Not as dynamic as some of the other ones, but see maybe some of the detail. I'm trying to figure out where the good focal point on my camera is. But, yeah. Really nice sculpts. Alright. Looks like we're getting down to it. I know we have the 1, 2, 3 battle droids. They're going to sit all on the big plate. Looks like we got one more clone trooper and a couple Mandalorians. Although some of these Mandalorians are... Right? Yeah. Pretty sure. Oh yeah. There's a couple different. There's the Death Watch Mandalorians for Gar Saxon up here, and then there's some of the other Mandalorians. Maybe I'm getting the names messed up, but yeah, for Bo-Katan. Where is right? Yeah, Bo-Katan, and then I guess there. Oh no, there she is, Bo-Katan, and then these two Mandalorians, and then Gar Saxon with these two. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Battle droids or Mandalorians? Let's save the pain for last. We'll do the battle droids last. Let's see. We did do a little bit of an unboxing video shoot yesterday for Shatterpoint. We did not do that one live, and it's not up on our YouTube channel just yet. I'm pretty sure Tom, our technical director, wants to do turn that one into an edited video. So he wants to do some fun stuff with some of the editing work. But hopefully we'll have that unboxing video up relatively soon. I know there's quite a few other ones out there on YouTube, easy enough to search for and take a look at, but ours should be up here, I don't know, within a week, I would hope. All depends on when we can get the time to actually do it. We are limited on our work hours. Gotta save some room for having fun and playing games. That's interesting. This is left arm. Or right arm. That is a twist in the pose. Why any marksman is trying to fire at a 90 degrees from their hip swivel, I don't know, but gives it a little bit more dynamicism with its little twist in there, but definitely feels like it's going to be a quick snapshot versus a well-aimed type of shot. There you go. He does have a big twist there in his hips. Definitely twisting and responding to something quick for that firing that blaster. I guess feature tech, there's not a lot of recoil, so pull off stances like that. And there's one of the other Mandalorians. See what I mean by his, I mean, he's got a, like this angle, it's a nice, almost needs like a cape or a trench coat. It's definitely got the kind of nice Western hero shot pose there, but I guess it's not too bad. This angle feels a bit awkward for anybody that has ever done any marksman shooting or firearms. But good sculpts, good poses. Definitely not the worst one in the bunch. Good open room to get the brush tips in there and get these painted up. All right. Looks like we got another Mandalorian on in a flight pose here. Looks like, oh, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 2 different Mandalorians right here. Count the legs. That one's a bit awkward, but I've certainly seen worse arrangements on sprues. Two-piece helmet, two-piece torso, limbs and a back. I think in my headcanon, I'm just going to start assuming that the jetpacks that the Mandalorians wear are completely controlled by lifting their legs to go into that flight pose. Can't fly off the ground until you lift your leg. The activation switch is somewhere right there in the groin. Can't find the angle on that one. There it is. Flying Mandalorians are probably another one for any of the hardcore painters that may want to do some sub-assembly painting with the jetpack smoke trails and the legs. They are not attached. There is clear space between all of those parts of the model. The only connection point is there on the back. Split trails again. I do like this version of the flight stand. Get another base clipped out for him. Come on. There it is. I mean, I know they're 40 mil bases, but some of these sculpts, there's quite a bit of room on that base. Do a lot of custom basing there. Guess I've been building a lot of GW figures lately. The bases seem to be a lot tighter to the sculpts. A lot more sculpt overhang on some of their sculpts. There's one of the other generic Mandalorians. Pretty basic pose. Yeah, spacing completely through. It's only held up by that jetpack connection point. Figure's more hanging suspension than mounted to its base. Which is fine. It feels like there's it's a nice, strong, big key joint between the back of the torso and the jetpack, and then a big, wide, flat place there at the bottom of the smoke trail. So both of those are nice and easy connection points to make sure the glue gets secured properly. Certainly not anywhere as near as worried about the flying Mandalorians as I am with the lightsabers. There's another one of those pieces that I'm not gonna take a closer look at where the spruce starts and stops. Sure, this is absolutely thrilling content for everybody watching, but nice chill afternoon, just something a little different, and my goodness, like I said, I am live streaming from one of the Miniature Market retail stores. The store is open, employees are here, customers are here. You hear front door opening and closing, restocks and pricing going on. But, not sure how much the microphone's picking up, but it'll just have to do. Ooh. Okay, add a little bit of plastic glue on my thumb there, and nearly just wiped out all the detail on the front of that helmet's face with the plastic glue. Yeah, to be careful. It's great for burning off those sprue burrs, but just got to be careful about how much detail you may accidentally melt away. I need some glue, more glue. Glue, cement, whatever. That connection is just not quite wanting to sit as flush as all the other ones I've dealt with so far today. I think that'll work. These are leg armor. Oop. Well, that is definitely where the legs and the thigh armor keys into place. The back looks maybe a little awkward, a little split there in the tunic or armor plates. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe armor plating. It almost looks like those two back edges should touch, but definitely not. Oops. Oh, I did not stick with my process of arms before head. Typically like to do most of the body pose before I glue the head on, mostly so I can just make sure I can get its positioning somewhat more natural to whatever the figure happens to be doing. Gotta at least make sure they're looking the right direction. Oh, there's another awkward little connection. There it goes. All right, not so bad. Okay, that hip is just not wanting to stay attached. I'm going to just take it off and reglue it. There we go. Nice. Looks like the Mandalorians are favoring their gauntlet weapons a little more than their pistols. There seems to be several sculpts that just holding the right hand pistol in the air and working more with the gauntlet weapons. I guess if I had cool rockets attached to my wrist too, that would be pretty fun to fire off. Kneeling on the ground. See, there's that split in the armor plating. Yes, the sprue marks are there, but it's just an awkward little split. I don't know. Doesn't seem like. Oops. It almost feels like it should connect there, but that is definitely maybe just at the top. It's definitely not a flush edge-to-edge seam connection. Certainly two separate pieces of the armor. Decent, interesting sculpt. Little, some movement to it. All right. Well, based on my base count here, we should have technically 4 figures remaining. One clone trooper and the 3 set of the B1 Battle Droids. So you do get 2 extra bases somewhere. Your option of which ones you want to use. 2 extra bases, the 40 mil bases out of the core box. All you Crisis Protocol players out there, I'm sure, have no knowledge of extra bases laying around somewhere, right? Oh. Getting to be mid-afternoon. The store traffic's going to start picking up. It's going to probably start getting a little bit louder in here. See how quickly I can get these 4 figures put together, and we will wrap up the stream. Well, for anybody that has watched the stream to this point, I have completely neglected doing any kind of call to actions or anything like that. There is a bit.ly link down in the description that will take you straight to our online web store. The bit.ly link, though, does help us do some tracking on where our traffic comes from. Let's say the upper paycheck people, people that get paid more than I do, lets them know that our streaming efforts are actually worthwhile. So anything shopping off of that bit.ly link in the description definitely helps us out with the streaming, our streaming efforts here. Let's see. Oh, there's a second clone trooper, but he's certainly doing just as good of a job aiming as the other one is. As in, not at all. Looks more of a walking towards the combat type of pose and not necessarily a in the thick of it type of pose. He is leaning forward a little bit, got a little bit of weight into his step, but one of the lesser impressive sculpts out of the core set. And the detailing is fantastic, but the, I don't know, positioning could just kind of, it's there. Let's see, where's the other one? So yeah, you got one of them looking the wrong way and the other one blaster down at his hip. Walking into combat. All right, last base. And the ones we started the stream with and the ones we're going to end it with, the 3 battle droids. And yes, both of these are the exact same sculpts between the 2 sets of 3 battle droids. Oop. Almost lost a piece. Would have been the first one of the day, but Well, almost wrapped up with the figures. Like I said towards the beginning, I have built one of the sets of terrain. We did get 2 copies sent to us early from Atomic Mass Games. They sent 1 copy of the core box to each of our retail stores here in the St. Louis area. Like I said, I did build 1 set of the terrain so far. I built that actually Saturday afternoon in the middle of our X-Wing Regional Championship live stream. None of that was really on camera, or maybe a little bit was on camera. Somewhere in the middle of that live stream. But, I don't know, maybe, we'll see how well this one how much of a response we get off of this video, and, depending on timing, maybe I'll live stream putting together the second set of terrain. Okay. There it is. Oh, Battle Droids. Patience of a Jedi to get these things attached and built. Missing my thicker sprue goo plastic cement at this point. I'm still thinking that Super Tactical Droid may be just a bit more finicky than the Battle Droids. Not by much. They are pretty close in their amount of fidgetiness needed to get these connection points to adhere. Oops. Sorry about that if I bumped the camera there. Alright, I'm so close. Almost get this whole set of characters built without having to get tweezers. Okay. He's going to sit there and firm up a bit. Let's see, it is a Tuesday. What do we got going on tonight? Here at the Manchester store on a Tuesday, we have Warhammer 40k, Learn to Play Pokemon, some Soulforge Fusion, and occasionally we do get some Star Wars Legion players in here on a Tuesday night. It's been a little hit and miss lately, but we do support the game. We do get the OP tournament kits and whatnot. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, our Cave Springs St. Peter's store location has a growing Star Wars Legion community on Friday nights. I know a lot of the employees over there like to play the game as well. And we'll probably run into a few of them playing on Friday nights. Whether they're on or off the clock, it's not my job to be concerned about. Yeah, when Shatterpoint does release here in less than a month on June 2nd, we will be having events for Shatterpoint at both of our stores. I think we're going to start off with some nice, easy, casual, kind of learn to play type of days for the first, month or so. Let everybody get their copies of the game built and played and kind of learn the rules a little bit. But I completely suspect that we'll be running some kind of Shatterpoint tournament or league before the end of the year. I know there's been talk of wanting to start up a Star Wars Legion League out at their Cave Springs location. Biggest thing that we need for any event to be successful is a strong community member to lead the team. I am the event coordinator for both of the retail stores, but I wish I could have the time to learn and play every single game that we host events for, but it is just physically not possible. With 2 locations 20 minutes apart and running events 7 days a week at both locations, there's just no way for me to run most events. Which is why I'm the event coordinator. I coordinate time, space, and resources, and let as many of our community leaders lead the communities, the gaming communities, as they can. I would much rather be a support and more of a fly on the wall, just get out of your way and let the players have fun. Yeah, most of our events are, not all of them, but most of our events are run by our community members. They really do a great job of taking charge and posting things on social media and Discords, especially in the private gaming group Discord channels, and Facebook groups. It's, those are typically forums that can be difficult, if not impossible, for retail accounts to interact in those forums. A lot of them, both Discord and Facebook, are fan or player based only. That they do not want companies being represented in those forums. So that is another reason why we rely on our community members to help get the word out and share some of the bigger events that are going on in our stores. So if anybody out there listening would like to be kind of the key point person on any game system that you would care to run at our store, I would happily be willing to talk to you about whichever system you'd like to support. Best way to get a hold of me is by email. It's easy enough, events@miniaturemarket.com. That is events plural. Miniature Market's all one word, obviously, or pushed together on the email there, but yeah, events@miniaturemarket.com. Easiest way to get a hold of me. I handle the scheduling at both retail stores for all of the events. I am also the main point of contact for any of the gaming communities that are needing any kind of other resources or things that OP kits, tournaments, that type of stuff. Tournament kits being ordered, whether play mats. We need more play mats, or we need more table space, or whatever it may be. Time, space, and resources. That's essentially what most of my job comes down to. All right, last piece, last cut. All the pieces are out. Last figure to build. Just get them on the base and we'll be done. Let's see, 340. What, about a little over almost 3.5 hours at this point. Not too bad for, I was about to say 16 miniatures, but it's technically 16 bases. And what, 20 figures, considering that there are 2 of them with 3 battle droids per base? I have certainly spent a lot more time on some other builds with nowhere near as many parts or figures as a whole. I do enjoy building the models, probably a little bit more than I enjoy painting them. I really like to, lately I've been doing a lot of magnetization as well with some of my models. And that you definitely need super glue for. Plastic glue will not hold magnets into your plastic figures. That will require some super glue. The upper arm and lower arm being in 2 separate parts. This is probably one of the most awkward connections out of the kits to build, the piece together. It's trying to hit that elbow and the hand being glued on at the exact same time. It's not too bad. If you built any of these Space Marines from Games Workshop, you're probably pretty familiar with trying to get some of these types of connections into place. Getting that to line up though. There we go. A little tricky. The other one stuck so easily. And I just knocked it off. All right, let's see. Let's try to get the head on first. his head a little more lined up. And get the leg pushed back on again. Oh my goodness. Alright, everything's falling apart. Definitely recommend the thicker sprue goo plastic cement mix for assembling these. It's just gonna save you so much time and frustration. I'm gonna have to let him sit for just a bit while that plastic glue firms up. Alright, well, we are just about done. Get these mounted to their base and do a grand reveal type of shot, all of them together. And we'll call it a day. Well, at least for this live stream. I've got a few more hours of things to do around here. They will stand, but boy, it is a house of cards. All right. Alright. Oops. Come on. Don't be difficult as the last one. There we go. Alright. All of the figures built, including our Wolfcat. Best figure in the game. Even though it's just a terrain piece, it is a nice little added touch. Little Wolfcat on a astromech droid head. But there we go. We've got. Let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's see if we'll do. Oh, excuse me. Excuse my hand. Reach around from the other way. We got the Super Battle Droid, one set of Battle Droid, B1 Battle Droids, another set of B1 Battle Droids, and I'm pretty sure the intended teams for the core set here, maybe that's, we'll do the reveals in teams. I am pretty sure Asajj is the one in charge of running the kind of commanding the battle droids here, along with the super tactical droid with his city hologram. Keep wanting to reach in front of the camera. I apologize. There's one of the groups. And let's see, the other... Oh no, yep, I just wiped out a battle droid. That was one of the ones I just glued on. So again, the plastic glue needs to set up a little bit longer, especially since I thinned it out. Thick, heavy mixture of sprue goo plastic cement is definitely going to be the way to go building these figures. Ooh, it's even harder to get them in now with the other droids in the way. There's always got to be one difficult one. All right. He's at least got his 2 legs attached now. Maybe leaning back a bit, but he's on there. Alright, so B1's the Super Tactical and Asajj in one of the groups. Let's see, where'd he go? Darth Maul is leading his group of Mandalorians with Gar Saxon, who we built with the sniper rifle option. And they have 2 of the Mandalorians. Let's see, this is going to be interesting to try and pick out. I'll have to look at the sculpts a little closer, maybe. That one's definitely Bo-Katan. Oh, there's the other one. That one's definitely one of Maul's followers. And I'm thinking this one here. The helmets are just slightly different, a little more narrow, slender, at least the one kneeling in particular. The one flying has a little detail on the helmet. Let's see. Nope, I'm wrong. So, nope. Here, according to the back of the box, that one is one of the Bo-Katan ones. That's this one. What am I looking for? I am looking for these 2. There we go. So we've got 2 of the Maul Traitor Deathwatch Mandalorians, Gar Saxon and Maul himself as one of the other teams. Alright, now it'll be easy to pick out. Let's see, we've got Ahsoka with Bo-Katan and the other 2 Mandalorians. And there we go. Try and get that. Yeah. That's a nice, I don't know, nice or convenient diagonal, same pose. Yeah. Let's see. Oops. And the last team that we built is out of the core box is Anakin. Oof, sorry about that. Anakin, Rex, and 2 of the clone troopers. And those are the 4 teams of 4. 4 teams of 4 bases, anyways. Especially with the Battle Droids having 3 per base. That is all 16 figures built up out of the core box. And of course our favorite, the Wolf Cat. Right. Now we need a little more Ayal or something like that to go with Ahsoka. All right, well, I think that's pretty much going to be it for the day, at least for this live stream. Thank you for anybody watching still and staying with us. We will, let's see, yeah. No, thanks again. Tune in to Miniature Market's YouTube channel for all of our streaming events. We typically try and do 1 event live streamed each Saturday, or I should say each weekend. We were going to try and be doing some kind of live campaign or league as our second stream for each week. We did do a Warhammer Narrative League a few months ago that wrapped up. There is some discussion on doing a D&D RPG campaign that we will probably be streaming, hopefully here in the near future. But as for Star Wars Shatterpoint, that is going to be the day of building all the character figures. So thanks again for watching.